Hello everybody, this is Diane. I am going to start on a new journal using this recipe binder. It's very old. It does not have a date on any of the pages. It was not, it did not have any printed recipes in it. It was just a binder with divider cards with some information about each category and a recipe or an envelope for each category. It's an undecorated, just a plain envelope. You can see how old these things are. And it had plain notebook paper, and some of the notebook papers had recipes written on them. And then I'm adding scrapbook paper and other things to it. So I just kind of wanted to, I'm just getting started on it, so I don't really know exactly what I'll be doing in it. I have kind of an idea now. But before we get into that, I have my grandson Teddy here with me today. And he had a half day of school on his computer, and then we had lunch and went to do some errands, and now he's doing some homework. But while we were out running errands, we had to walk right past that little, it's not a consignment store because she buys things outright, but it's a little used goods store. She has a lot of clothes in there, but she also has some books and glassware and jewelry. So since we were right there, we went in, and I'd only been there a week or so ago, so there wasn't anything new as far as books, but I did pick up 3 more books. This one is Little Toot on the Thames, and it was given to Pamela in 1965. So the illustrations are so cute, and it's dated 1964 for the copyright. I just think he is adorable. And it's in pretty good condition. And then I got this one, Moppet. The cover is beautiful. And Moppet must be the mouse. And these are dolls. Cora Belle and John. There's a spider web. I'll have to read the book. It's just cute. And then this one looks like a little golden book, and it also looks like it wasn't used very much, but it's a friendly book. It's got a striped binding. 1950. It's very sweet. That's what I got at the Junkyard's Daughter. Now on to this binder. I did spend a little bit of time yesterday, and I, believe it or not, I've washed this, wiped this down as much as I can. So I'm going to be adding little fabric bits and things to this. But I have added some pages. I've decided to use the last sheets. I had a few sheets left of the Graphic 45 Home Sweet Home. So I've added those, but I'm only cutting them 5.5 inches wide, so I'm only using half of each sheet really. And then I have a divider from the binder, and one of the envelopes, and a written on page, and a plain page. And then I start again with scrapbook paper, the divider, the envelope. And most of the envelopes are empty. They did have something in them because they're written on, she wrote on here what recipes are in the envelope. One of the envelopes has some newspaper clipping and magazine clipping recipes. And then this is a page from a different recipe binder, and the holes lined up perfectly. This is a newer book, and I just had to trim off a little bit to make it fit the size. And this is from the Authentique paper line, Saucy. I had a few pages left of that also. So that's what I've done, kind of done a pattern of those kinds of pages, but I haven't started decorating any of them. Let me show you what I have to work with, or some of what I have to work with, because I have a lot of stuff. I've got all these leftover scraps from the last time I made a recipe book, and these are from Saucy. I know there's more, because I just brought them in with me. Yeah, there's a whole bunch. These are just from the ones I just cut for this book. But look at all these pieces. They're from Saucy and some other books. Scrapbook papers that I have. So I've got lots of that kind of stuff to work with. Plus the graphic 45 pieces that I cut. And I have scraps of that. Is there anything in here? Oh. I have, these are the rest of the dividers and some of the written on pages from that binder and some of the envelopes. I know I won't have room for all of them. I have a lot of recipe stuff, you guys. So all of these are just little pieces that have been cut out of various cookbooks, and that's from a pattern for an apron. I've got all these little pieces that I can use. I have cut out cards from some of the scrapbook papers. These are some ephemera pieces that I made for the last recipe books that I made, and I had some leftovers, so I might be able to use some of these. And this is something cool. It came out of a cake mix, and I washed it, but, I mean, I wiped it off with, a baby wipe. But, it was in a cake mix box, and it's very old. And it has the coupon there for a spoon. So I thought that would be something fun to stick in there. And I have more cards cut from the graphic 45 paper. And these pieces that I had made with my Cricut last time I did a recipe cookbook or recipe journal. I have those pieces that I can use. I think they're fun. This is what I used to punch the holes in the pages that I added. My We Are Memory Keepers hole punch board. And then I've got a whole bunch of handwritten recipes, recipe cards that are blank, pages out of recipe books, and all these booklets that I can use images from. And I didn't bring everything in here. Some aprons, patterns. Lots of stuff. This tablet, I love this to market. It's just a shopping list categorized. I've got all these old magazine images. So hopefully I can use some of them. And some are not so old. I even brought in some wallpaper so I can just use some wallpaper for embellishing journal cards and whatnot. I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not exactly sure the direction I'm going yet, so I just brought in a bunch of stuff. More handwritten recipes. I think I definitely want to include this, although it's a little bit long. But I can trim some off the bottom and then glue it closed, and then it can be bound right in. Of course, I already have envelopes in here, but this is just a fun coupon shopping list, so I'm going to put at least one in there. And this is from another binder, recipe binder. So I can cut that off and punch holes in it. It's going to have to be narrower anyway. And keep that pocket on there. Maybe. It's something I'm going to try. I've got some little booklets. Lots of handwritten stuff. And then I have this binder has, or this little envelope has magazine images and cookbook, not images, but they're recipes. So I'll use those. And this came from a magazine. And this folder has kitchen, it's all from vintage magazines. So it has kitchen images, food images, coupons. I love the coupons, the vintage ones. Food, you know, just recipe images. So lots of things from old magazines that are so fun to use. This journal isn't going to have a lot of pages to decorate. It's not like when I do a 3-signature journal, because I'm limited by the amount of room on these rings, and when I start decorating these and putting things in the pockets, it's going to fill up fast. So I'm not going to be able to use as much of this as I think I'm going to. What's in this pouch? I have to familiarize myself with the pouches so I know which one to grab when I'm looking for something. So these are pages from a Raleigh, an old Raleigh book. Okay, there's some more. I guess I have to combine those two envelopes that have all the kitchen and cooking images, but then these are just household stuff. So maybe this pouch is for housekeeping. And this, I've got a lot of labels. You've seen me using a lot of labels, and they came out of this, vintage labels. So maybe I'll use some of the actual labels in this journal also. This one is larger pages from cookbooks that I want to use in journals. So this is just a little pamphlet book, and just some really pretty pages that I can put in a cookbook journal. And then some more kitchen and cooking. I've got to organize these things and condense some stuff. And then, like I said, I have the wallpaper. So I think what I want to do right now, oh, and I have some stamps. I just dropped one. So these are just the same stamps I've used in other cookbook journals. I don't have a lot of cooking stamps. I probably should look for some because I do quite a few cookbook journals, but I mean, I've got enough other stuff. So I've got quite a few wooden block stamps. I love this one. She's called Sugar Baker, and she's from Stampington and Company from a long time ago. And this is also from a very old, from a long time ago, from MJ Designs. And this is from, I don't know. Oh, Personal Stamp Exchange. And then these I think I got at Hobby Lobby. Yeah. I have some, these are for making recipe cards, and then these little vintage looking ones. I've got an apple pie. It says home cooking. That goes with that. So, you know, I've got little things to add decorations to the pages with my stamps if I need to. So this was the front page in the original book, and I decided I would keep that. I like that, my recipe book, but I can cover up the instructions for how to use the book, because basically you're just writing or gluing recipes into the book. So I cut this piece to just glue on as a pocket. But first I want to reinforce these holes. One of them, I thought one of them was torn right through, but it's not. But I do want to reinforce them because as the journal gets used, it will probably tear. So I used my tab punch to cut this from a scrap of the paper. And I'm going to glue them on and use them as the reinforcements. But I will need to know where to punch the holes. So I just position them and draw a hole. The hole's on the inside, so I just turn it inside out and then punch the hole through both layers. It's not centered, but that's okay. And then I will glue it on there with the holes lined up. I didn't center these very well. Okay, so I'll just glue them on, and then this will be ready. Well, no, then I have to glue the pocket on. And it will be ready to add to the book. Wipe this nozzle off. Okay, and hopefully it's going to work for me today. Yep. I tried a new recipe for muffins yesterday that I found on Pinterest. It's called sugar donut muffins, and really I would call them sugar cookie muffins. I took them to, well, it's one of the errands we had to run today. I took them to the coffee shop, and my friend pays me for my baked goods, and then she sells them in her shop. And so I doubled the recipe because she wants giant muffins. So I actually went to Amazon and bought the giant muffin pans and the muffin cups, like a huge stack of the paper muffin cups. And I doubled the recipe because I was going to make the giant muffins, and I only ended up with 7 muffins out of a double batch. But she doesn't sell a lot of baked goods, so she only wants like a half dozen at a time when I bring stuff. So if I make a dozen muffins, I put 6 in my freezer and then take the rest to her. So I had 6 to give to her and 1 to try because I wanted to see how they tasted. I like that. I like the way that looks. So they have a little bit of nutmeg in them. And then when you take them out of the oven, you sprinkle some, or you brush melted butter on them, and then sprinkle sugar on them. So when I make a soft drop sugar cookie, not the roll out kind, but the drop kind, they have sugar on top of them, and they have a little bit of nutmeg in the cookie batter. So these muffins taste just like the drop sugar cookies that I make. And they were so soft, and it was delicious. So I took them to my friend today, and she said, "Ooh, I might have to buy one." And she said, "Well, I mean, I'm going to buy them all," because she bought them from me. But then she purchases whatever treats she wants. She purchases from her own shop, just to keep the money coming into her shop. So that looks cute. And then I'll put a tag or a recipe or something in there. And maybe I'll just put some sort of embellishment or decoration here. Got this bag of oatmeal, rolled oats. Got a bag of sugar, or a box of brown sugar, and a bag of sugar, and a bag of flour. So I told her the next thing I'll make for her is brownies with peanut butter frosting. And I wanted to talk to her about them because brownies dry out so fast. So I said, I don't know how you want to do it. And I said I could probably freeze them, but even then they would dry out. So she said she would like 6 at a time, but she wants things like oversized. So I would cut the brownies big. And that would probably take half the pan. And I said, well, that would work because my kids and I all love the brownies with peanut butter frosting. So we would all enjoy the rest of the pan. So that would work. She said the brownies, they make plain brownies, and she said they sell well, but she thinks the ones with peanut butter frosting would be really good. So that will be the next thing I make and take. I think I really like this bag of flour. All of these really cool images came from a book about chocolate recipes, and I made a journal out of that. I believe that's the one I kept for myself, actually. I made several chocolate journals. I have noticed that since I had COVID, I did not lose my sense of taste like a lot of people do. Not really. I didn't have an appetite, but I didn't lose my sense of taste. But I have realized that I don't enjoy eating chocolate, like a piece of chocolate candy or something, like a Hershey Kiss or whatever. It doesn't really do anything for me anymore, which is kind of sad, but probably good. But I got some yummy chocolates for Christmas. Different people got me stuff. Maybe I already told you this. I probably did. Already told you. Looks like I got 3 bottles of vanilla. I guess I'll do the bag of sugar. It was -2, no, -5 on my car thermometer when I went to pick Teddy up this morning. And that was going on 8 o'clock. My daughter and her husband leave the house around 5:30 or so. It must have been very, very cold when they left. I think that looks cute. My camera must be positioned differently because I'm hitting it more than normal. Teddy and I had spaghetti and meatballs for lunch, and we started watching Artemis Fowl. I'd heard of that. It's a series of books, and there's a movie on Disney Plus. So I said, well, let's try it. I had never read the books or anything, and I do enjoy reading kids' books. And I love kids' movies. So we started watching it, and it was good. I mean, it wasn't what I expected, but we only ate it or watched it long enough to eat our spaghetti, and then we had to go run our errands. So when he's done with his homework, we'll watch some more. His mom has to work extra today. So I don't know if we'll have time to finish it or not. It depends on how much time he needs for his homework. I might still be working on this video when he's done with his homework. But that's the plan, for us to watch some more of Artemis Fowl. Adam's not here with him today because he's taking care of the dogs. He's 15, so he's okay on his own. But they'll both be here tomorrow. I like that page. That looks fun. And then there'll be something fun in there. Why don't we find a recipe to put in there right now? Here's a recipe for banana bread. And here's a really old and mucked up one for pumpkin pie. Will it fit in there just like that? It will. Don't know if... kind of want that to show, though. Don't really want to cover that up. So this one is folded. Date loaf candy. Ew. Tell me if that sounds good to you. Does not sound good to me. Could you tell by my reaction? Pumpkin bread recipe. 1.5 recipe. Okay. I'll tuck those in there, and then you can still see the My Recipe book. And that is a fun page. This I cut from a big 12 by 12 sheet, and it had this strip across the top. So rather than cut it even and cut that edge of the stamp off, I left it so it's kind of like a tab there. But I think I'm going to just do some decorating here and make a pocket at the bottom. I'm going to look for recipe to glue up there. Maybe a couple recipes. Well, this says breads. Maybe I should look for a bread recipe. Cornmeal pancakes. Libby's hot waffles. These are all cakes. Okay. Oh, here's one. This came off of a bag of flour, and it's for quick and easy yeast rolls. And maybe some wallpaper down there for a pocket. These are I think these are the wallpaper borders. Yeah. Thought it might be fun to find a wallpaper border that I could use. Doesn't have to be food related, it just needs to look cool. I like this one with the blues, and I like that it's shaped. That is a really big wallpaper border. I mean, that's page size. This basket is really cool. Okay, I think this floral one is the best option. Trying to keep my space neat. Put these little pieces back in their drawer. I could punch holes in the wallpaper and make it bigger. I wonder if it'll fit on here. I don't really like that little sliver of green sticking up there. You're not going to be able to read this whole recipe, so I'm going to see if I can layer another recipe on top of it just for good looks. Put the waffle on there. Maybe make it look like it's sticking out of the pocket. Windy out today. I can hear the wind blowing. Teddy and I were walking. We parked the car and then did a little walking to do our errands, and it was pretty windy. But it's a lot warmer. I mean, like I said, it was -5 this morning, but it was upper 20s when we were out. It didn't feel that bad, really. I'm gonna take one of these. Maybe. I don't know if I want carrots. These are all vegetables. Just feel like I need to put something up there. I could do that, or I could do one of these little pieces that says Home Sweet Home. I like that better. You done with your homework?
Not yet.
Okay. Do you need help?
No, I was just wondering if I could take a break.
How much homework do you have left?
Kind of a lot.
You said you didn't have much. What time is it?
My system thingy is slow and doesn't work very well.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's 3 o'clock now. You can take a 15-minute break.
Okay.
Trying to find the holes. There they are. Might be fun to just glue a little coupon or something down there. Put a label on it. I guess I can do that another time. I wonder if I can make this work. I'd have to cut it like right there. I might not want it in there because it's pretty thick. Trying to see my pencil mark. It might add too much bulk. I have to trim just a little bit off the top. I like this, the colors in this with the graphic 45 papers. Isn't that pretty? Looks like a 1930s pattern. Maybe I could put this at the back. I think that works perfectly. I can put a bunch of stuff in there. It's very pretty. Let's get this in here while we're at it. Just stick it in randomly. You can put stuff in there. Nope, that doesn't fit. Okay. And did I put this in the wrong place? No, I didn't. But I don't think this plain page is supposed to be here. Oh, yes it is, because, no. Yes, because I took these pages out. Yeah. These are supposed to be in here. Don't know why they got removed. I'll reinforce all of the holes somehow, probably in different ways. That one is torn through. Let's decorate an envelope. We don't have much time left. I'm going to leave the handwriting on there. These came out of a kid's book. Oh, it says bread, so we're going to use that one. This is somebody's lunch, I think. I don't know. It's got some celery and rice and oatmeal and bread. We're just going to use this image. I'll just cut that funny rule off, since it's not connected to the other images. I thought that was a carton of milk. That's why I thought it was somebody's lunch. But I guess they wouldn't take a whole loaf of bread and a carton of oatmeal and a box of rice in their lunch. Sorry for my creaky chair. Sometimes I notice it more than others. Maybe you do too. I don't know. Macaroni and cheese. Let's see. Okay, is there some bread in here? I don't know if I'll try to match up the pictures and recipes to every category. Cookies, breads. Okay. I could just put a strip here. And be one of these pages. Got a pile of the blank pages that were in this journal. I could turn it that way. I don't know if I'll like the way this looks, but I'm gonna just try it out. I'm not trying to make it fit the envelope, I'm just gonna cut it straight. I think that's okay. Then you can write a short recipe on there. Oh, I have this patterned cardstock from the Graphic 45 set. I was thinking I had a punch in that hexagon shape. Let me see. I don't. The only reason I thought I did was because one of these scraps had punches taken out of it. I don't know. I think it's easy enough to cut them out. I know Stampin' Up! Had a hexagon-shaped punch at one time, at least. But I think I'll go for the blue one. Let's see if I can add the green border around this one. That looks cute. I like that. I think each envelope will have a journal card, maybe a piece of this folded up paper, and a recipe, whether it's handwritten or cut from a magazine. So let's tuck a journal card in here, which is actually made to look like a recipe card. And then I'll put something else in there as well. That's a cute envelope. I like it. I am going to go, because we've been on for 50 minutes, and I need to change my battery. But I feel like I've got a little bit of a start and maybe have a better idea of what I'm doing in this book. So I hope you'll come back to see what else I do in it, or to see the finished flip through. I don't know how many videos I'm going to do of this journal, but I'm going to have fun with it, I can tell. Now that I've gotten started, I'm excited to keep going. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Have a creative day today. Bye-bye.